Good morning all. I hope you all are safe and healthy at your places. Myself, Dr. Manjusha Goyal, associated with Department of Management Studies at Rajkumar Goyal Institute of Technology. Today, I am here to discuss with you the topic of theory of demand, types of demand, determinants of demand, demand function, demand schedule and demand curve. So, let us start with the lecture. Demand. First, we will discuss theory of demand. Demand theory is an economic principle relating to the relationship between consumer demand for goods and services and their prices in the market. Demand theory forms the basis for the demand curve, which relate consumer desire to the amount of goods available. So, we can say that basically demand theory is nothing but to study the relationship between the demand for goods and services and their prices in the market. Now, the question comes, what is goods and services? Goods are all the tangible things which we are using in our day-to-day life, like your pen, like your remote, your mobile, everything which we can see and touch, that is termed as goods. Services are all those intangible things that we cannot see by our naked eyes, we can only enjoy, that is the service, like your education, your hospitality, your transportation, all are example of service industries. So, in demand theory, we study the relationship of these goods and services with their prices in the market. Now, again the question arises, what is market? If I will define the market, so market is a place where buyer and seller interact with each other and they are ready to sell or buy the product at a mutually agreed upon price, means they are both are ready to buy and sell the product on a agreed price. So, demand theory is a relationship between the price and the demand of goods and services in the market. Then we came to know that it is also showing the relationship of demand curve, which relates consumer desire to the amount of goods available. Now, what is desire? That is an important terminology in demand theory. Desire is any willingness to buy, or we can say it is the something which we want, the basic need of a person, that is a desire. Okay. We can have a desire to have a big house, we can have a desire to have a long car, we can have a desire to have a luxury houses, or the luxury means foods or clothes. So, desire can be anything, but in economics, if I will talk about, every desire cannot be a demand. Desire can be demand only when it is supported by the willingness and ability to buy. That means when you have money in your pocket, then only your desire will be converted into demand. For example, if you have a desire to have a Mercedes, but that is only desire till you have money to buy that Mercedes. When you have money in your pocket, you move to the showroom, you pay for your car and take the car to your home, then only your desire will become your demand. So, we can say that demand theory is to study a relationship between the demand for goods and services and their prices in the market. But demand is if I'll define what is demand, so the demand is defined as the want, need or desire which is backed by willingness and ability to buy a particular commodity at a given period of time. So, demand is an effective desire. As I already told you that any desire which is supported by purchasing power means ability to pay at a point of time and willingness to pay, then only it will become a demand. I already give an example. So, that is the demand. Now, we will discuss different types of demand. We have many type of demand like direct and drive demand, recurring and replacement demand, complementary and competing demand, demand for consumable goods and capital goods, demand for perishable goods and durable goods, individual, market and industry demand. We will discuss these one by one. So, first we will discuss with direct and drive demand. What is a direct demand? Direct demand is that demand which is the demand of a final consumer. It means the demand which is the product which are used by a consumer directly, the end user. The demand of those consumer will be treated as a direct demand, like demand of eatables, demand of electronic goods, demand of furniture, demand of your clothes, means all those commodities, all those services which are used by the consumer, by the end consumer finally, then that demand for a product is a direct demand. Now comes drive demand. Drive demand is the demand which is due to demand of other product, like demand of raw material or any product which is used as an intermediary for value addition in other goods. That is a drive demand. Means their demand is not due to their own reason, but due to the demand of some other product. Like if I talk about furniture, demand for furniture is direct demand, but due to that demand, when there is a demand for wood for making a particular furniture, then the demand for wood will be your drive demand. Okay. So, I should say that direct demand is that demand in which the product is used by the final consumer themselves, and drive demand is the demand for a raw material or for a intermediary goods which are used for a value addition of any other commodity. So, that is a drive demand. Then comes your recurring and replacement demand. Recurring demand is the demand for consumable which is repeated after a fixed interval of time, like it is repeatedly occur after a fixed period of time. Like if we have a demand for meal, we have the demand for meal thrice a day. So, it is a recurring demand because we need food after a fixed interval of time, that is a recurring demand. We need newspaper, we read the newspaper daily. So, that is again an example of recurring demand because it is the demand which is repeated daily. So, that is a recurring demand. Now, if I talk about replacement demand, so replacement demand is the demand for those commodities which are used for a long period of time, which are replaced, which are used for replacing a commodity, like for your durable goods. If you are using the furniture, so furniture is replaced. We can use that particular product a number of times during a time period. So, that is a replacement demand. We have to replace the electronic goods, we have to replace our automobiles, we have to replace the furniture. So, all these kind of commodities are having a replacement demand. Okay. So, recurring demand is the demand for the goods which is repeated after a period of time, after a fixed interval of time, and replacement demand is the demand for the goods which is replaced during a long period of time. So, that is the replacement and recurring demand. Now, next come to complementary and competing demand. Complementary goods are those goods which move together, means If one is in demand or one is in use, the other will be in use, otherwise there is no use of the other one. So, these kind of product will have the complementary demand, like your printer and ink. So, if there is a demand for printer, there is a demand for ink. Pen or refill, if there is a demand for pen, there is a demand for refill again. Demand for car and petrol or CNG. So, if there is a demand of vehicle, there is a demand for petrol or CNG or diesel, it can be anything. So, means complementary demand is the demand for those goods which move together, which alone cannot survive. So, that is that type of demand is your complementary demand. Then comes the competing demand. Competing demand is the demand for those products which replace each other. Means if we are not using one product, we can go for the other product. So, they are replacing each other. That kind of demand is your competing demand, like your demand for tea and coffee. At a time, you can use one product only. So, if you are having a tea with you, you cannot go for coffee, and if you are having a coffee at a time, you cannot go for tea. So, means at a time only one product can be in use. So, these kind of demand is your competing demand, like your Pepsi and Coke. So, all these are the example of competing. Means complementary demand is that demand which move together, and competing demand is that demand which replace each other. So, that is the difference between complementary and competing demand. Then comes the demand for consumer goods and capital goods. Consumer goods are those goods which are finally consumed by the consumer as an end product. Like I just told you, all the eatables are consumable goods, means which are finished. Once you keep on using that particular product, that will be wear and tear or that will consume. So, those are goods which are used as a consumer goods. So, demand for those goods are treated as consumer goods. Capital goods are those goods which are used for adding value in other product, which are used as an intermediary for value addition, like your machinery are the example of capital goods. So, when we are demanding a product for manufacturing something or for value addition of something, so in that time that type of demand is treated as demand for capital goods. Okay. So, demand for consumable goods are demand for end product by the consumer, and demand for capital good is the demand for machinery or other product for value addition purposes in other products, and it is treated as a capital goods. Then comes demand for perishable goods and durable goods. Perishable goods are those goods which perished within a short period of time. Means if we are not consuming those commodities, then they will destroyed or they will vanished. The perishable goods example, it can be your vegetable, it can be milk, fish, meat. So, all these commodities are the perishable goods. So, when we are demanding these goods, we have to use these goods accordingly. So, demand for these goods are perishable goods. Durable goods are those goods which we can use for a long period of time, for a long duration of time, like your automobiles, your cars, your electronic items, TV, fridge, furniture, laptop, mobile, all these are durable goods. We can use these goods n number of time during a time period. So, demand for these kind of goods are durable goods. Then comes demand of individual, market and industry. Individual demand is a demand of an individual customer. For example, my demand for a Maruti Alto, that is an individual demand, means demand of an individual customer is a individual demand. Market demand is the demand of that particular commodity of a particular company, that is market demand, means total demand of a particular commodity is a market demand. Industry demand is the demand of similar kind of product. Like suppose I give an example right now that my demand for Maruti Alto, that is an individual demand. Total demand of Maruti Alto, that is the market demand, means total demand of Maruti Alto is a market demand. Industrial demand is the total demand of small cars by all the companies, that is industrial demand. So, is it clear? Individual demand is the demand for a individual customer of a particular commodity, that is individual demand. Market demand is the demand of that particular product of a particular company, that is market demand, means aggregate of that particular commodity. Industrial demand is the demand of that kind of product of all the companies in an industry. Like if I will talk about automobile means sector, so demand of a small car by all the companies who are producing that kind of commodity in the market. So, a total demand of that small car is your industrial demand. So, here these are the type of demand: direct and derived, recurring and replacement, complementary and competing, demand for consumer goods, capital goods, perishable goods, durable goods, individual, market and industrial demand. Then we have determinants of demand. Determinants of demand means the factors which will affect the demand. There are many determinants of demand which will affect the demand, means which will result an increase or decrease in demand. These factors can be price of product, income of consumer, price of related goods, taste and preference, advertising, consumer expectations of future income and prices, population, growth of economy. We will discuss these one by one. Now, first come to price of product. Price of product is an important determinant of demand. Price affect the demand a lot. We normally says that other things remain constant. Price of a product and demand of a product will have inverse relationship. It means when the price increases, demand decreases. So, that means that there is a inverse relationship between price and demand. If price increases, demand decreases. If price decreases, demand increases. So, that is a inverse relationship of price and demand of a commodity. So, it is an important determinant. Then comes the second determinant of demand, that is income of consumer. Income of consumer and demand of a commodity will have a positive relationship. It means as income increases, demand also increases. Means when the income increases, the purchasing power of the consumer will increase and automatically their demand will increase. In economics, income is denoted by Y. So, that is the relationship, but it is not true in all the cases, as we have to study the different kind of commodities while studying the relationship between income of consumer and demand of consumer. So, we can say that there are three types of commodities when we are studying with the income of consumer. The first one is necessities, second one is luxury, and the third one is your inferior goods. So, means when we have to study the relationship between income and demand, we have to study these three commodities. Now, what is necessities? necessities are those goods which are having the need, basic need, which are related to the basic need, like your food, shelter and cloth. These are the necessities. So, if I will talk about the relationship between income and necessary goods, so in that case I should say that as the income increases, demand for necessary goods also increases, but up to a point, and after that it will become stagnant. So, that is the relationship in case of necessity and income. Then comes the luxury commodity. Luxury commodities are those commodities which make our life enjoyable, which make our life comfortable. Like if I should say that cloth is a necessity, food is a necessity, but if I demand for a pizza or for a burger or for a means branded food, so in that case it will become a luxury. And luxury commodity and income will have direct relationship or positive relationship. As the income increases, demand for luxury goods increases. So, it keep on increasing. Suppose if you have means demand for two-wheeler, then when the income increases you will move to four-wheeler, then further income increases, then you will move to a big car, then further income increases you will move to a 2 cars and 4 cars. So, in that way luxury goods will not have any limit. As the income increases, the demand for luxury goods will increases. The third category of commodities are inferior goods. In case of inferior goods, as the income increases, demand decreases. It means that inferior goods and income of consumer will have inverse relationship. Inferior goods are the low quality goods available in the market, for which better substitutes are available. So, those are the inferior goods. So, when the income increases, consumer can now shift to a better commodity, better quality product. So, in that case when the income increases, demand for inferior commodities will decrease. So, income increases, demand increases, but it is not same for all the commodities. In case of necessity, it will increase and then it will become a stagnant after a point. In case of luxury, it will keep on increasing. In case of inferior good, it means it is a inverse relationship. As the income increases, demand for inferior goods will decrease. Now, the third determinant is your price of related goods. As I already told that demand is very much affected by the price of commodity, but it is not only affected by their price, but it is also affected by the price of related commodity. In that category, we have the two kind of goods. One is your complementary goods and one is your substitute. Complementary goods are those goods which move together, means if there is a demand for one commodity, there is a demand for other commodity. If there is no demand for the first one, there is no demand for the second one. So, in this case the complementary goods will have the inverse relationship, means price of suppose X increases, then demand for Y decreases. For example, your printer and ink. These are the complementary goods. As the price of printer increases, means price of X increases, then demand for ink will decrease because there is no more demand of printer. So, if there is no more demand for printer, so no more demand for ink. So, in that case complementary goods will have inverse relationship. Price of X increases, demand for Y decreases. Then comes your substitute goods. Substitute goods are those goods which are replacing one another, means which can be used comfortably and easily at each other places, like the demand for your Pepsi and Coke. If you have Pepsi, then well and good. If you do not have Pepsi, you can move to Coke also. So, in this case, in case of substitute goods, the price and demand of substitute goods have direct relationship, means if price of X increases, demand of Y increases. Means suppose price of X like Coke will increase, so it will become costly. So, what will happen? The customer will shift to your Pepsi. So, in that case demand for Pepsi will increase. So, that kind of demand is your demand for substitute goods, and it will affect the prices of related goods to demand factor. Then comes your next, that is taste and preference. Taste and preference is again an important determinant of demand, as in today's world we only use those products which are of our taste, which are of our preference, and that will affect the demand of a consumer also. Like if I will talk about a professor, then for a professor the demand for books will be more because it is of their taste. If I will talk about a kids, so for a kid the demand for the toys will be more as they need toys to play. For a teenager demand will be different according to their taste. For a elderly person demand will be different according to their taste. So, when I talk about taste and preference, the demand will be in positive direction. If you have a positive taste, if you have a taste towards that particular product, demand will be positive, and if you do not have the taste of that product, so demand will be negative. Then comes demand for advertising as a determinant of demand. Advertising. Advertisements are made to increase the demand. They have a lot of impact on demand. We use those as a tool for increasing demand. So, if advertisement is on a positive note, then your demand will increase. If it will affect the customer, then your demand will increase. So, advertisement will have a positive relationship with the demand. It is a direct relationship. As advertisement increases, demand will also increases. If you decrease the frequency of your advertisement, demand will decrease. For example, we normally see that at the time of New Year or Christmas or at the time of your festive season, Cadbury normally increases the frequency of their advertisement. What will have? Why they will have? Because they want to affect the demand of the customers. They will want to have the impact on the demand of the customer. So, in that way advertisement also become an important determinant of demand nowadays. It will affect the demand of a customer. Then comes consumer expectations of future income and price. As income and price in itself is an important determinant of demand. So, when we are expecting any change in any of these two variables, it will affect the demand. For example, if I will talk about the future income. So, if a consumer is planning to buy a car in the month of Feb, but they are expecting that the income is going to increase. So, they will shift their demand, and if they are expecting that price is going to increase, then they will affect the demand accordingly. They will prepone or postpone the demand. Population is an again important determinant of demand. If population is high, demand will be more. If population is less, demand will be less. Growth of economy, if the economy is in growth phase, then demand will be more, otherwise the demand will be less. Now, demand function, when we express the relation between demand and its determinant mathematically, the relationship is known as demand function. We express these determinant mathematically, like price of commodity is expressed as Px, income of consumer is expressed as Y, price of related commodity as P0, taste and preference as T, advertisement A, future expectations EF, population and growth, that is N. So, we express this mathematically, that is dx is equal to F Px Y P0 T A E F or N. Dx here denote demand for X product, F is the function, and rest is your determinants of demand. Then we have demand schedule. Basically, demand schedule is a tabular statement that state different quantities of a commodity that would be demanded at a different prices. Demand schedule are of two types. It means when we represent the data related to demand in a tabular form, that is a demand schedule. demand schedule two type of individual demand schedule and market demand schedule. Individual demand schedule says that the quantity of a commodity that a consumer or a household would buy at various prices. It means in individual demand schedule, we will show only the demand of an individual customer at a particular price. Like at price 80, the consumer is buying the 3 kg of oranges, at price 100, 2 kgs, at 120, 1 kg. So, that is an individual demand schedule, means we are expressing the data of an individual customer or a consumer. Then we have market demand schedule. Market demand schedule is an aggregate of individual demand schedule, means in this form we shows the data of all the consumer who are interested to buy that particular commodity. Like in this table we have the price, then customer A, B, C, D and total. So, we can see that at the price 80, customer A is willing to buy 3 kgs, then 6, 5, 7 and the total demand is of 21 kgs of oranges at price 80, and the same at price 100 we have 14 kgs of demand, at price 120 we have your 10.5 kgs of demand, and at price 140 we have the 7 kgs of demand altogether. So, we can say that in individual demand schedule we are representing the demand of an individual customer, rather than in market demand schedule we are showing the demand of aggregate demand of that particular product, demand of all the customers who are busy, who are engaged in buying that particular commodity. Then last we have demand curve. A demand curve shows the relationship between price of a commodity and the quantity demanded by the consumer graphically. Demand curve slopes downward, means when we show the data graphically, then that is the demand curve. On x axis we have the prices, on y axis we have the quantities, and we can see that at price 8 demand is of 7, at price 10 demand is of 5, at price 12 demand is of 4, at 14 demand is 3. So, we can say that when we are representing the data in a graphical form, then that is your demand curve. Okay. So, thank you for this. We can say that we can revise the things here, that we will revise today demand theory, determinants of demand, types of demand, demand schedule, demand function and demand curve. Thank you class.